What's up, YouTube? Welcome into another edition of Gaming with Derek. Joining me is Eric Nagle, who's the owner of Every Whoop Activity on Instagram. He's doing something a little different with his Whoop band, and he's going through every single Whoop activity and logging those activities on Whoop. Eric, thanks for joining me. How you doing today?
Thank you for having me, Derek. I'm excited to be here. I'm doing great. Ready to take this W.
Yeah, we're gonna play some Madden today and see if we can have some bragging rights at the end of it with the victor. But every Whoop activity, just talk about what you're doing with that and what's the journey been like.
Yeah, sure thing. So I've been doing CrossFit for about 3 years, and after I ended up getting my Whoop, I've been having this for 2 years, and I noticed that whenever it detected an activity, I went and pressed CrossFit every single time, and which was cool and it gave me really great information. But one day I played tennis with some friends, and I scrolled through, and I noticed I scrolled for a pretty long time, and I saw some really awesome activities come along the line. Everything from your classic team sports to even something like cricket or circus arts or stage performance. Yeah, they have a whole list there. So it's a pretty eclectic group of different games and activities you can do. And so I thought to myself, yeah, I had so much fun playing tennis. Why not give the other ones a shot? And so I'm on this journey of doing every Whoop activity, and I'm super excited about it. And I think I got some cool things coming up in my future.
Yeah, it seems like something super cool that you're doing, and you actually just posted on your social media that gaming is one of
Yeah.
those activities, and we're obviously going to game today and kind of see where our Whoop numbers take us in terms of heart rate and things like that. But what was the very first activity you decided to do when you started this journey?
The first activity, I like to go all in. I like to do things the extra mile. So I had signed up for the Hartford Marathon, which happened this past October. And I thought, what a better way to kick off than to do something like a marathon where I really get to test my body. Of course, you get to see the super high strain score of, I believe it was a 20.7. And then you get to see the next day recovery at like 7%. So it was a really cool one to start off with. It definitely put my body through a lot, and I learned a lot training for it and everything. But yeah, and since then I've gotten a chance to go around and do some pretty cool things. And this one definitely started this whole project off with a bang.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that training for the marathon, but we also want to get into the game as well. I'm going local squad, Cleveland, although I'm a Giants fan. Who are you going to go with this
All
time?
right, I'm I'm going with the Dolphins. Before this, we did the four death picks, and the fourth one was my death pick. It landed on the Dolphins. I grew up a New England Patriots fan, so I guess I'm sticking with the AFC East, and hopefully Tua has something good up his sleeve for me.
Well, I'm hoping Baker doesn't have Baker Mayfield like performances today and actually produces well offensively on the field. So that so this should be pretty fun. This should be pretty fun. But yeah, let's talk more about the Every Whoop activity Instagram page. And there's so many different activities on there. You said you've done 17 of them so far. About to venture into number 18 here in gaming, but what was some of your favorite activities that you've done so far?
Each one definitely had their own style, and I got to meet really cool people along the way. The one that really sticks out to me is the commuting, because I live in Connecticut right now, and it's a pretty, they have the to get somewhere, you typically take a car. It's not as commuter friendly as some of the other cities. So I'm used to being in this metal box driving to where I need to be, and you start at point A and you end up at point B, and you don't really think much of it. But getting to go out, kind of do the whole suit and tie, and get ready for that, and get a chance to kind of be a part of the local environment, and travel through from here to Hartford, which took me about an hour. It was a really cool experience. I think it kind of it exceeded my expectations in a lot of ways. So far, commuting has definitely been my favorite.
So you were telling me before this that it was really your first time on a bike though in a really long time. So So what was that experience like getting back on the bike, but not only getting back in the bike, but now you're out in traffic. Like that had to have been a little terrifying.
Yeah, it was something special. I don't think the first couple miles were meant for bikers. I was in like a two lane, like 50-mile-an-hour road, and cars were zooming by me, and I didn't want to be too much of a burden to others. So I just kind of try to stay and be hyper focused. All right, I'm just staying right in this little swath between the white line and the side, like where the curb was.
Right.
But then after that, I actually found my way to a bike path, and that took me all the way into Hartford. And getting a chance to kind of bike around Hartford and towards the downtown part was really cool. And yeah, I ended up making it in one piece. It was my first time on a bike in like 15 years since I was a kid. At least a bike that goes places. I'm used to the assault bike. But yeah, I had a really great time with it, and I didn't crash. And so that's always a good thing to hang my hat on.
That's good, but did you ever have a moment where you thought you were going down?
No, but I stopped and I didn't know that like trains were in my area, and I stopped right before like train tracks that were coming down, and seeing a huge train roll on by was pretty wild. And
Right.
at that point I didn't really know what to do, so I just kind of waited until I headed out, and then I just walked across the tracks. And but yeah, it was a cool. You never get a chance really to see those type of things if you're just in a car. So
Yeah.
it definitely was a cool experience.
Yeah. On the flip side, that was one of your favorites. What was your worst? I know you mentioned the marathon and how much strain it put on you there, but if there was anything outside of that, what was it?
Yeah, I mean the marathon really just it put my body through the ringer, and that now that I've done it. Oh, I gotta go. Yeah.
Oh, wide open.
Uh, um, Looking back, I did the ice bath with Denver Sports Recovery, which was a really awesome facility where almost like a gym, except instead of exercise equipment, it was all this recovery equipment.
Right.
And they drew up a whole, sauna, massage gun, ice and cold bath, ice and heat bath, and such a cool experience. But man, getting in that like 50-degree water multiple times, it was like, you feel it down to your bones, and man, it's pretty cold, but it was definitely an awesome experience to be a part of.
What was the strain after that? What was your activity strain for the ice bath?
Uh,
I'm
I
curious.
did. I think it was somewhere. It wasn't anything too crazy. My heart rate went up maybe to like 100, but
Hmm.
then one of the things that they were telling you, just focus on your breathing, and just try not to think about it, and so your heart actually ends up kind of relaxing. Ooh, the longer you stay in, and so that was definitely a challenge too, of trying to just stay on top of your breath, and just take those nice, easy, deep breaths, and keeping that heart rate down even when you're in frigid water.
Yeah. Yeah. How how has it been Oh, you got away from me there.
Yeah.
How has it been planning all of these activities?
It's super cool. I think um, when I started this project, one of the things I kind of wanted out of it was to be able to meet these really awesome people, and so in each one of my posts, I kind of have a blurb about the coach. And so whenever I've gotten to reach out to either the places and the trainers that I've gotten a chance to do things under,
Mm,
or any friends that have some specialties in certain sports or activities, they've just really, I've been very lucky with how I've been treated, and it's been a blast so far working with all these different people, and kind of figuring out, seeing them at their best, seeing them do their passion, and kind of spending an hour or two being a part of that.
yeah.
And so it's just been a blast so far.
Also, are you literally gonna have the ball the entire first quarter here, or
I'm trying. I'm running out the clock,
just?
ground and pound, and then that one big pass play.
Oh man, we got to get a stop here.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's see. What do I got up my sleeve? I got
Shotgun
him far
formation
to
in
the
the goal
left.
line.
Oh
Nope, overthrown.
no!
Overthrown. Let's
I'm. Uh,
see what you do
I don't
here.
know whether to play it safe. Yeah,
You
it's
always
just
got
the
to take the
first.
points when you can. You
Take
always
the
got to take the
points. Yeah.
points.
Let's see what we got. Nice and easy right down the middle. Points on the board.
There
It's
you
always a
go.
good thing to do.
There you go. So recently your last one was parkour. You decided
Yeah,
to hop into that activity. What was that like?
super cool. Just walking into that facility initially, it was adaptive movement parkour in New Britain, Connecticut,
Hmm.
and just first off, I when I saw the activity, I was like, how am I going to do that? And just know that something was local. It just goes to show that these type of activities are out there if you're just willing to kind of get out of your comfort zone and do something new. So when I looked that up and got to go inside of it, it was just such a huge facility. As you can see there, it's got bars. It had these boxes that you can jump on and over. It had the foam pit. Had all these walls that you can run up.
Mm.
And it was just such an awesome experience. With the coach had 12 years under his belt of doing this type of stuff. So he's breaking every movement down into something, and um, it was definitely an awesome little class to do, and it was like a playground for adults. It really was the best way to describe it. So I had a blast with
When I saw you the other day post about parkour, I legit thought that you were going to be outside, like jumping sidewalks and things like that. So it's pretty cool to see that you were able to do it that way. But has there been an activity that you've done so far where you were kind of concerned about how it may turn out?
I got to bring it back to the when I went over to Denver, I did some mountain biking. And just like how commuting was my first time on a bike in,
Mhm.
about 15 years, this was my first time on a bike, not on flat, even ground with roots and rocks and on the side of a mountain. So mountain biking was definitely something that I was like, got a helmet up. I got to make sure I take nice and slow.
Yeah.
And then I ended up catching up some speed by the end, and you kind of learn how to roll with the bumps and kind of make those split second decisions. I had a really great coach of that. A friend of mine, Shauna, has been mountain biking for a while now, and she broke everything down super well and made me feel pretty safe. I did end up with a flat tire though, but maybe that was the universe telling me, you know what, you've made it this far. Let's keep you in one piece so you can go after the next activity.
Yeah, yeah. And what's the one activity on this list of 84 that you're looking forward to doing the most?
Looking forward to. Oh man,
Yeah.
when I initially told my brother-in-law about every whoop activity, and we were kind of going through each one, we saw Operation Sky or Operation Flying, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's going to be skydiving. I want to go skydiving with you." And I don't love heights, but to some degree, skydiving is almost just like you can't even think about it. You just got to let it go.
Right.
So I guess it's something to cross off the bucket list, something I'm really excited for. And I think that's going to be activity 84. If I
Yeah.
can make it to 84, that'll be the grand finale, jumping out of a plane and getting the operations flying.
So would bungee jumping apply to Operation Flying as well, or is that completely different? I've actually bungee jumped, which was a super cool experience, but I wonder does that qualify, or is there something up here? I don't think they have bungee jumping up there, so maybe that counts too.
No, not yet. I assume Whoop is going to kind of add in, just like they do with their journal feature. As people kind of come in with suggestions, they'll add in as needed. Um, but yeah, I would assume bungee jumping is something along those lines of operations flying. And that's one thing with this project that I wanted to do was to make sure I'm being as true to the activity as possible. So I wanted to go above and beyond, not only, meet the professionals or the people that are passionate about that activity, but, live a day in the life of like what they would do. So sometimes I like to eat the food that they normally eat, or sometimes I like to go out and, train the way that they train and, just kind of be a sponge and learn how they do their activity.
So what has that been like, making those connections with people and kind of seeing what they do in their everyday lives?
Yeah, yeah, that's been my favorite part. I'm lucky enough; I have a bunch of cool friends that do a lot of cool stuff, and to be able to connect with them and to be in their element
Hmm.
is something that's super special. So I got to visit a friend out in Denver again for that mountain biking, and for the other Denver activities such as skiing and hiking as well. And then I got a chance to visit a friend out in California to surf because here in Manchester, Connecticut, we don't have many surfing waters nearby, and getting to hang out with him and feel that California sun, get out there with a group of his friends and go out in the surf. It was an awesome experience, and I had such a great time.
Yeah, and obviously, by checking out your Instagram, I see that Whoop's kind of been following you throughout this journey. So clearly they are aware of it. What's that like? What have those conversations been like with Whoop?
Oh, they've been incredibly supportive so far. So whether it's commenting on my posts or replying to my stories or just showing their support, it's something really cool because I didn't know what was going to come of this. But when I saw that they followed me and then they're commenting on every post and I definitely feel like they're behind what I'm doing and it speaks to something that they're trying to accomplish, which
Mm.
is to kind of get Whoop into every activity and kind of unlock human performance. So I'm just excited to be a part of that to any degree and to kind of ride that wave and I feel super appreciative of the support that they've given me so far.
Yeah, so how long? I've been with Whoop for probably about 2.5 years, and I don't think I've taken my band off in the last 2.5 years. But what have you kind of enjoyed and learned about yourself with all the information you get from your Whoop band?
Yeah, it's I've had it for about 2.5 years as well. I think I'm actually approaching number 1,000 for recoveries, which is going to be a pretty special milestone. Um, so far, I've learned, because when I initially started with CrossFit, I was going, about 4 or 5 times a week, and I was eating and kind of getting into a good rhythm. But definitely, it's incredibly important to take care of your body. So kind of having those extra numbers to have a better sense of when your body is fully recovered and able to kind of push it the extra mile, and also what kind of behaviors. Nice little pound through the end zone. All right, little I have to make a little bit of a comeback, but um, yeah, to have the information on what I do every night, my daily habits, to be able to kind of give me the more information to better prepare myself for any type of workouts or any other activity coming up is super valuable, and it's just been an awesome community to be a part of so far.
Yeah, I've been with them for about 2.5 years or so, and there's that journey of kind of figuring out what works
Yeah,
in
yeah,
terms of all the data that you're getting back, and for a long time, I used to always find myself in the red or in the yellow and barely getting into the green. But yeah, the last couple of months for me, it's been, I haven't had more than 2 days in the red, um, for like the last like 4 months, which has been great to kind of figure out what my body needs, day in and day out.
definitely. What are you at today? What's your recovery?
Oh, I'm in the green barely by 1%. I got 67%, but in the green. So
Love it. Love it.
that's
I got you on that one. I think I'm around 80 today. So the advantage goes for me for this game. I'm hoping it plays out pretty well.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean I had a good workout yesterday, so to be in the green after that, I'm pretty pumped about. So, but I'll be curious to see uh let's make this tackle. What our numbers will be in terms of heart rate gaming. Uh,
Yeah,
you got to assume that there are definitely moments within gaming where your heart rate kind of spikes, but be interesting
definitely.
if
I think
we.
that's such a cool thing that Whoop has done is I guess gaming isn't a traditional activity you would think of when kind of think of physical activity, but esports and gaming has kind of blown up recently, and so the fact that Whoop kind of takes that extra, goes the extra mile to really consider anything that can bring your heart rate up is definitely something pretty special and shows how forward thinking that they are.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious, along the Whoop side of things again. I'm one of those guys, like, I like a ton of bright colors. I wear a lot of bright colors when I'm out, things like that. So I have a ton of Whoop bands, all different colors. I'm actually wearing like a light blue one today. But do you mix and match with your Whoop band, or are you a solid black guy?
Well, I was solid black for about a year. And then that kind of became like a charcoal, like as like the sweat piled up and things
Right?
started rubbing off. So then I made the switch. I wear a lot of olive green. And so they had this I think it's called like avocado band. And it's just been my go-to pretty much ever since. I used to mix in the black a little bit, but now it's just sticking to the olive green and yeah, it's like my favorite color, so it works out perfectly.
Perfect, perfect. We need a good third down stop here. Oh, wide open,
Staying
out of bounds, out of
oh
bounds. Let's
no.
go. Let's go.
Man, stay in bounds. I'm gonna
Oh.
try to let's see if I can pin you somewhere. Uh,
So
let's see.
what's been what's kind of been the feedback from friends and family as you've kind of started this journey? Because the best part about it is, if for anybody who's never scrolled through these activities, there's going to be some activities that may be tough for you to do. You're gonna really have to like build some connections to do some of these things. So what's the feedback been on this journey?
Yeah, it's if I tell someone who may be not familiar with Whoop or those type of physical fitness trackers or whatnot, they kind of look at me like, okay, that sounds like it's gonna be fun, and just kind of say best of luck with it. The friends that I do have that either have a Whoop or work for Whoop,
Right,
they were super excited to hear about it. I think that's what kind of gave me that extra push to say, what, I'm going to try and go for this and see where it leads me.
right,
Was from the support of the people saying like, wow, that's going to be an awesome experience. You're going to be able to meet, those cool people. You're going to be able to kind of put your body to the test and have a really fun time learning all about these new activities and getting myself out of my comfort zone. And that was definitely something originally that I wanted to do is to push myself to try new things and to see where that leads me.
right. Oh, big play right there.
Oh
Big
no,
play.
man,
Austin Hooper, highest paid tight end in the league, which is a
getting the
crazy
money fast.
contract to me.
It's insane. All right, well, we got a minute 12 left in the first. I gotta bear down right here.
I gotta score because I get the ball back. I need the extra. um, I kind of when we get to half, I want to kind of scroll through some of these um, activities, but is there are there any activities that you saw on this list that you were like, what is that? And how am I going to pull this one off? Because there's
Yeah.
definitely a couple on the list that I want to point out.
Yeah, I got it. The operations one always kind of, again, to make it as authentic as possible and do operations medical,
Right.
operations water, those kind of stuck out first. Of all right, I'm gonna have to kind of think outside the box with those. Oh man,
Boom.
big time. Is that Landry?
Landry.
Yeah. But then even something like circus arts, kind of gets the gears turning on, what, where could I go? Who could I talk to? What would it even look like? What would it be? So yeah, there's definitely a handful of those activities
Right.
where I'm just kind of hoping along the way, opportunities pop up and I kind of get creative with it and get to meet with some cool people and do some cool things.
Yeah, there's one I'm looking at right now. Uh, hurling?
That one
Do you
actually,
know what that is? I don't know what that is. I need to look this up.
funny enough, I had both hurling and Gaelic football lined up this past fall. Unfortunately, they both fell through. I have a friend from the United Kingdom who plays in a hurling and Gaelic football league. They play on the same field
Oh,
outdoors, and now it's
here
it's
we
out of
go.
season because as we're getting colder. But yeah, it's a intense sport where, to my understanding, you almost have like this, yeah, the kind of like a paddle, a big paddle, and you kind of have to keep the ball bouncing on it. You have to do different passes to people. You're scoring on these nets. It's a huge field, getting hit a long way. It's definitely something that's going to test my ability to learn and kind of try something new.
Yeah, I've that was definitely the first time that I've ever seen that sport just now. Um, definitely, yeah, that's are they making the paddle here? Interesting. But yeah, where do you even find that?
Yeah, one of the cool things that I've learned is that you're just a Google search away a lot of the times, or you're one friend away from doing that activity. And um, it's been really one thing that I've discovered as I've kind of played around and try to pseudo plan things out.
Right.
That it's a Google search away. It's one friend away, and in conversation, you hear someone say, "Oh yeah, like I play in a Gaelic football league," and say, "Well, that's one of the whoop activities." And so I'm looking forward to that one. I think that one's going to be very interesting. Same thing with Gaelic football, which is kind of like a mishmash between rugby and soccer, and um, a couple different sports there. So it's definitely going to put me to the test.
Right, right. Gonna pause it here at the half if I can.
Right.
I can't right now. We'll have to do it after the kickoff, I think.
Kick
We'll
off.
we'll get a pause. But yeah, because I kind of wanna take a look at some of these and kind of get your thoughts on them. All right, let's pause it here. Um, yeah, so we just saw hurling. Um, how are you quantifying high stress work? And have you already met that?
I have never registered high stress work, and I was just kind of tackling that the other night. I wonder what that could be, and I think somewhere along the line I'm going to be able to kind of come up with something or figure out something along those lines that will kind of be able to get that heart rate up to that level to define it as an activity and to be stressful enough work.
Right, right. We've got motor racing. So
Yeah.
are you planning on actually getting on a track, or is this going to turn into like super fast go-karts?
Yeah, so I'm an L1 CrossFit trainer over at Silk City Fit.
Hmm.
And funny enough, before I even started every Whoop activity, I was talking to one of the members in between sets of maybe doing something like back squats. And sure enough, he's a professional race car driver. And
Unbelievable.
so yeah, so when I ran into him a few weeks ago, I was like, "Hey man, you got to get me out on the track." And he's like, "This April, we'll take care of you. We'll do something pretty fun." And that's one I'm really looking forward to, is to get out there and go pretty fast.
How about have you ever been on a horse before?
Never been on a horse before, and I that's one that I am going to be nervous about. But I'll give it my best bid, and yeah, I fully plan on getting on the back of a horse and seeing how that goes.
And then this is an interesting one because you have two options, right? You can go normal wrestling like we see in high school and college and things like
Yeah.
that, or we could go WWE wrestling. We got a couple of people who a couple of wrestlers who are into CrossFit, Ivy Nile being one of them, Roman Reigns being another. So there's some options there with wrestling that you could choose. And which route would you go?
Being from Connecticut, right down in Stamford,
Vince McMahon
I
is right
wouldn't
down the
mind
road. Let's go.
right
Let's
down
give
the
him a
road. Yep.
call.
Yep. I wouldn't mind. I grew up watching WWE, so if I get to do like an RVD frog splash on someone, that would be something pretty special, and that would definitely register as a Whoop activity.
Oh, RVD, that's awesome. Inline skating, another one. There's two options because you could do that on ice or you can do that on the road. First of all, can you ice skate or can you rollerblade?
I can stand
Ooh,
with rollerblades
ooh.
and ice skates on my feet. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think my body was designed to be on something like rollerblades or ice skates, but every whoop activity means every whoop activity. So I'll get out there and give it my best bid.
Awesome. All right, let's start up the second half. I want to talk to you about just your background with CrossFit. When did you get into CrossFit and how are you enjoying it? Obviously, you have an athletic background. You played
Yeah.
you played baseball. You played baseball in college. So let's talk about your athletic background a little bit.
Yeah, so I grew up playing baseball, and I loved always like the team sports. So whether it was baseball, basketball, played a little bit of soccer, but I specialized pretty early on in baseball and specifically pitching. So throughout high school and then fortunately I was fortunate enough to play at Endicott College
Hmm.
4 years as a pitcher, and such an amazing experience. And baseball is my first love when it comes to sports. So um, again, grateful for all the experience I had with that, but afterwards, after college, I said to myself, well, I'll just hang around. And, I was generally pretty active and whatnot. But after a year of not doing much, I kind of said to myself, yeah, no, I'm missing that, in my life, and getting out there and having that physical activity. And I was in Manchester, and my sister had recently became a owner of a CrossFit affiliate.
Hmm.
I didn't know much about CrossFit. And, she didn't push anything. She just said, hey, whenever you're around, if you want to try it out, try it out. And I told her, yeah, I'm in. And I joined Silk City Fit maybe in like July of 2018. And it's been the best decision I've made. And, not only from the physical aspects of it. And I feel
Right.
like I'm in the best shape of my life. And I feel like the best days are ahead of me when it comes to physical fitness, which is an exciting feeling to have. I think having the community and those systems in place and, now getting all the way to my L1 and helping running the CrossFit Teens program.
Mm.
It's become a part of my life in such a significant way that, looking back on it, joining Silk City Fit was one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Yeah. And worst, or I shouldn't say worst, least favorite CrossFit movement, and then your favorite CrossFit movement.
My least favorite CrossFit movement. I, I could always pick something like the assault. I have a love-hate relationship with the assault bike, right? It's like when it feels good, it feels good. When it feels bad, it
Hmm.
feels bad. I don't want to say I have a particular least favorite movement, but the 21-2 workout, which was dumbbell snatches and burpee box jump overs.
Right.
Um, I mean, that was just such a lethal duo that, I don't think you could pay me to do that workout again. I'm hoping, in 2022 that workout's going to be looked over and not implemented again because that one really put me through the ringer. But and my favorite, ah, I'm not great at it yet, but I love throwing around the barbell. If I get to pick some type of movement, I want to end on I want to end on a complex after a WOD
Right.
or spend some time just throwing around the barbell with some friends, and that really is not my best movement yet, but it's definitely my favorite movement. Anything with the barbell.
Anything with the barbell. I feel like
Um,
that's everybody's favorite movement. Everybody's favorite
yeah,
movement for the most part, unless you
and I
have
shouldn't.
unless you have like a background in gymnastics.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say anything with a barbell because thrusters would be under that under that umbrella too. So I definitely wouldn't want to do thrusters, but any of the Olympic lifts definitely something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a guy that like I never go super heavy. So even like like for me like super heavy barbell, like sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can pass on that. Like I don't have to go super heavy with it. But yeah, I definitely feel yeah. I actually don't know if I have a worst or a least favorite movement. I think at the end of the day they all feel the same.
Yeah.
So I think they are all equally. Oh, what am I doing?
Oh no.
Oh, we gotta
Oh
pick.
man.
We gotta pick. This is Greg Joseph.
Oh, get the off the back foot.
Let's go.
Um,
Huge turnover right there. Huge. So you mentioned, um, you having your L1, you're doing some coaching. You mentioned coaching the teens program, and I know you do stuff with kids. What has that been like for you, and being able to help out the kids and the community at the younger age and getting them in the CrossFit? And what have you seen out of that?
Definitely. Yeah, that's my professional background is in special education.
Yeah.
So I'm used to kind of bringing the energy with the kids, and even before I ended up graduating from college, I was working every summer with like the Manchester Parks and Rec, running like their summer program. So when it comes to activities, sports, you name it, I always enjoyed working with kids. And so being able to run this program with as a co-coach with one of our other coaches at Silk City Fit, Liza, it's been an absolute blessing. I mean, the kids come in and the facility is huge and beautiful, so they see all the equipment, they see the ropes, they see the rings, and they're like, well, it just there's that immediate curiosity factor with kids
Right.
where they're kind of drawn to that and they kind of want to see what their bodies are capable of. So to be able to facilitate that and to kind of paint fitness in a way where it's a lot of fun and it's something that is useful to everybody, whether you're 6 years old or 60 years old. It's been a blessing so far. So being a part of that program is has been really awesome.
Yeah, at the games level, we're starting to see some of these young teenagers come in, like Emma Carey and Mal O'Brien and Emma Lawson. Um, Even on the men's side of things with Dallas Pepper, they all kind of grew up on CrossFit, and that was their
Yeah.
main sport. Um, is that how you're starting to see the younger generation as they come in with classes that this is kind of their thing, or are they still doing other things, other sports to kind of supplement their CrossFit training?
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about CrossFit is, again, from the background of mine of having specialized pretty early on, and just kind of being, playing one sport.
Hmm.
The cool thing about CrossFit is that it does translate outside of the gym. So it really is whatever you want it to be.
Right.
If you're there to, increase your general fitness, that's the right place to be. That hurts. That's a dagger of a
I'm
touchdown in the
putting the game
third,
away with that one.
putting the laying the hurt down, but it's all right. This will be a good comeback. But yeah, so whatever they want it to be, and so if they're there and they say, hey, yeah, I want to, work on my weaknesses. I want to kind of get into more of that competitive mindset when it comes to being in a gym, and then we have the tools to facilitate that. But if a kid's also a soccer player and is like, well, I just want to work on general fitness, we do stuff that translates to everything. And so generally, when the kids come in, they're excited about pretty much everything that we're doing, and I think the parents too. The parents really appreciate us. Going through those movements, giving them the foundational skills to really love their body,
Hmm.
and then to kind of build upon that to take it with them wherever they go in their physical lives.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I've been doing CrossFit for the last like 6, 7 years, and I don't know if you feel the same way too, but I almost feel like it's like anything else. Like, man, I kind of wish I would have found CrossFit early
Yeah.
on. And now, CrossFit hasn't been around for 20 years, not even, you know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
still fairly new in its infancy, but in terms of, what it's done for me fitness wise and health wise and, nutritional wise, um, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, I wish I would have gotten to it early on. Um, you kind of feel the same way now after being in it for 3 years?
Yeah, I think so. You talk to the coaches, and everyone always brings up, yeah, if only, if it was there when I was a kid, I would have loved to do this, or who knows how good of an athlete, general athlete I would have been. But the important thing is that we're doing it now, and again, I still think that a lot of our members, a lot of our coaches, the best days ahead of them, the best days are ahead of them when
Yeah.
it comes to physical fitness, and I think that's one thing that is cool about CrossFit is um, even if your capacity kind of lowers, maybe your weightlifting goes up, maybe your running ability kind of is struggling, but maybe you do really well on the rig. So you can always find your lane in CrossFit, and longevity wise, I think it's an awesome thing for anyone. Again, from from grandkid to grandma, everyone can benefit from something like CrossFit.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Um, we're gonna hop into your Instagram a little bit more and see some of the things you've done. Obviously, you mentioned, being a baseball player, so that one was super easy for you to knock out. Um,
Super easy.
but
Except this time around, I haven't pitched as much. I uh I actually got a chance. I've been up at the plate swinging, and I feel good at the plate, and that's been a lot of fun, kind of relearning something in baseball that I haven't gotten a chance to really do too much, through my high school and college days.
right, right. First time on a Stairmaster? Or
First time on a Stairmaster, yeah.
not to
Fortunately, I've
assume,
done
but I would
yeah,
assume that it's your first time on a Stairmaster?
yeah, that was super interesting. I looked at it and I was like, how does this thing even turn on? Like, how am I don't want to trip up these stairs or get caught in it or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, again, just going to a local gym and telling them what I was doing, and they let me go on the Stairmaster, and I got to do that 110 flights of stairs. Remembrance of the firefighters in 9/11, and with that weighted vest. So it was definitely something pretty special that I've never done before, and I had a great time with it.
Yeah, yeah. I can't pause, so we're gonna keep going with the game. But I keep looking at some of the stuff
Uh,
you did some spinning. Oh, okay, you paused it. You
yeah,
did some spinning. What
yeah.
was that experience like?
Spinning was super awesome. I got to go to a local place. When I told them what I was doing, they were super receptive to it. So they brought me right in. They set me up with a bike. They kind of brought me through what they were going to go through, and you kind of have this stereotype you hear spinning in your head, and you're like, all right, it's this dark, loud room with this really energetic coach, and you're pedaling until you're dripping sweat, and that's exactly what it was. And but I had a greater appreciation of almost like going with the rhythm of the music, and I think it was definitely an awesome workout and also a lot of fun to kind of be in that environment. Where it was almost like a club, but you just happen to be on a bike instead of dancing.
Yeah, yeah. The beauty of these, as I've been looking through your Instagram, is you're not doing all of these in one location. You're doing some traveling to knock out some of these activities. So you've had to experience some pretty cool things while trying to knock these things out. Where have you been?
Yeah, so to start it off, I visited some friends out in Denver and out in California. And one of the funniest things is, I picked some pretty cheap flights, and so whatever time they were heading out was the time that I was jumping on them. So middle of the morning or just weird times in the afternoon, these long layovers. So I was like, man, I'm gonna have to just pack jerky and nuts and whatnot. And I was worried about my recovery, only going on maybe 5 hours of sleep and catching a nap whenever I could, and my body adapted pretty well, all things considered. I remember one day I slept on the airport floor, and I woke up and I was at 81%. And I was like, when I'm at home and I get to do my nighttime routine and I get everything in a row, and I'm at like 51%,
Right.
and are you telling me that the secret is sleeping on the airport floor? But yeah, so it's been pretty awesome heading out to Denver, Colorado. I love to travel, so anytime that I can incorporate that into something that I'm doing, I'm very grateful for. And I definitely find that a lot of these activities are regional. Where surfing out in California, there's nothing more Californian than just going out on a board and being with that type of culture, those type of people.
Yeah.
So it was a great time, and I want to incorporate it definitely a little bit more.
Yeah, and maybe the hanging out at the airport could qualify as high stress work. And you can check that off of your
Gonna
list.
miss a flight, get the heart rate jacks up.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah. Are you ready to go? Fourth
Yeah,
quarter?
fourth quarter. This is where we make the money right here.
Yeah. I gotta get a little bit of a comeback here, but I think I can do it.
So you can't come on a segment called Gaming with Derek without me asking about your gaming background. When did you and you're not a hardcore gamer, but when did you first start getting into gaming? These cutscenes are kicking our butt here, so I think you're gonna have to call a timeout or get a delay game is what's gonna end up happening because we're
Oh
stuck
man.
in that cut screen.
I'll take the timeout. That will
That
be my excuse if I end up losing. I'm like, well, I had to lose that timeout
Well,
earlier on.
that happened earlier, and I just burned the timeout to get rid of it. But yeah, what's your background in gaming? How'd you get into it? And like, what was the first game you played?
Yeah, so I didn't. One of my best friends growing up was my next door neighbor, and we played all the summers. Connecticut summers, beautiful, playing wiffle ball in my driveway. But then in the winter, we would go inside, and after some sledding or whatnot,
The game is
he had.
broken, by the way. I don't
Yeah,
know what's
we
going on, but
let's see if we can take.
no, we're gonna
Oh,
get the
coach.
delay game here.
Oh no, I'm getting it.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
There we
All
go.
right, cool. All right, so
Um,
sorry, how'd you get into gaming? Let's start that over again.
so yeah, so I started with I grew up right next to, like my childhood best friend, and
Hmm.
he and I would go out and play wiffle ball all the time in the summer. But in the winter in Connecticut, it's hard to play wiffle ball when it's like 20 degrees outside. So he had a PlayStation 2, and I remember thinking it was the coolest thing. For maybe like my 10th birthday, I asked for one, and I got one. And I remember playing, back when like Terrell Owens was on the cover of ESPN football, and
Hmm.
my two favorite games were NCAA football and baseball. Those I could play for hours. But I never evolved too much beyond that. I think, I always loved playing with friends, but I didn't grow up in a household where video games, I didn't have an older brother or a sister who enjoyed the video games. And, but whenever I got a chance to play with some friends or back in college, I learned how to play NHL, which was something that I never thought I'd do. And,
Right, right.
got to play some Madden, some 2K. So I definitely have some background in some sports games, but I'm just not having a great showing for it right now. Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, tip drill.
Oh, swarmed it.
There we go. Two picks in this one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's crazy to come to think like the evolution. I mean, the evolution of technology for one, but the evolution of games of sitting next to your friends and like it's a split screen and you guys are playing together and to being able to do this, me being in Cleveland, you being in Connecticut and just like playing video games like we're sitting next to each other. It's just crazy how that industry is kind of turned, and obviously it's a $1 billion business and people are streaming on Twitch and like all that stuff. It's crazy.
Absolutely crazy. But you're right. I mean, technology is, evolving so fast, and it's definitely a cool time to be alive. And definitely, if you're playing a lot of games, it's a great time to be a gamer.
Yeah,
Oh
we're
man.
putting this one away. Just run out the clock. Just run it out.
All right,
This-
let's see if I got something up my sleeve. I got to bring the dogs or something. Engage eight.
so gaming is one of the activities as you're knocking. Oh, look at that block. So let's check in on our Whoop numbers here. How are you looking right now? I'm at 83 beats per minute is my heart rate.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see where I'm at. I got 79. I'm
Just
staying cool right now.
cool, calm, and collected the whole time.
Cool, calm, and collected. Nothing like a turnover, then onside kick, to get the heart rate up. So hopefully that happens. And oh, you're going deep.
I'm gonna do it. Want to see if I could spike your heart rate.
You got me to 80. You got me to 80.
It's funny. I dropped on the 71 on that. It's amazing how we're just on opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, I just saw, and one of the cool things that Whoop's done is, they have the athletes in live time hooked up to the Whoop,
Yeah.
and they're showing the heart rate in live time, and it's such a cool way to be able to experience sports and to watch your favorite athletes. And I know they did a piece about Patrick Mahomes and how he was able to recover through the NFL season, and they were equating his performances to his recovery. So definitely something super cool. It's a cool way to look at sports. It's a cool way to watch and experience, and to see your favorite athletes and kind of what goes through their bodies as they go through the season.
Yeah. Oh, sit down. Nope. Nope. Yeah, and they're starting to incorporate it on the CrossFit side of things. We now saw it during the CrossFit Games, and we may see that in a couple of other events coming up, and hopefully throughout the 2022 CrossFit season with these athletes all wearing Whoop. So it's definitely interesting to see how people react to certain situations. I was watching a tennis match last week where they had the Whoop data popped up for someone who won the championship. So it's pretty cool.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean, I assume that their heart rate went through the roof, and it's an awesome way to be able to view sports, and then in live time too. Like we were just talking about how technology you're able to do this, and um, it's such a cool time to be alive.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so you've got 84 activities that you're trying to knock out. Oh my, look at that pick.
Wow.
One-handed. That was huge. It's the second pick of the game.
Yeah, just
That was
putting it away, just put the nail in the coffin.
that was definitely the sports side of me coming out, knowing that that's his second pick of the game. Like, um, but yeah, your 84 activities. How long do you think it'll take you to accomplish all of these?
Yeah, when I first started, I kind of I drew out the fall, winter, and spring. So that gives me about starting in October. I was thinking about maybe 8 or 9 months.
Hmm.
As I continue on this, though, I could see it's taking a little bit longer, just because I want to give each sport its due, and to be able to do something at their fullest. And
Right.
being in the Connecticut winter again, some of the outdoor team sports will probably have to get a hold on to the spring or summer anyway. Um, but yes, so I'm hoping somewhere around 9 or 10 months.
Not bad. And you started how long ago?
And back in October, about middle of October. But I assume Whoop's also going to add some things as they go along and as people suggest. So as long as they're adding activities, I'll find a way to do each one.
Do you know if there's anybody? as you've started to do this, that's also on the same journey as you, or are you the first one that may be attempting to do this?
I, from my knowledge, I think I'm the first one who's intentionally doing it. But I know that there are some people out there who have a ton of passions, who likes to go out and about, and maybe has some very active friends that they like to hang out with. Um, but yeah, in terms of doing something systematic like this, I think I might be the first. But hopefully, no one beats me to the finish line. Hopefully, I'll be the first to complete all 84.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely looking forward to seeing your journey and everything you do because I want to see. Honestly, I kind of want to see how creative you are with with accomplishing a lot of these, but also just to hear what your experience is going to be like because there's some cool things on there that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, yeah, and I like to go above and beyond. So I got a few tricks up my sleeve. I have a few ideas kind of brewing. So I'm excited, and yeah, so far, the people that have followed and kind of been a part of the journey in that way have been super supportive. So whenever they comment like, "Wow, that's super cool," and I always tell them there's more to come, and so I got some big plans in the future that I'm super excited for. So excited to see how this continues to evolve.
Yeah, I'm just running out the clock for uh we're we're gonna wind this one down. It looks like I come away 21-3, so I get bragging rights for the foreseeable future. So pretty pumped up about that.
Yeah, you kept me out of the end zone. That was my goal for today. So I got to do burpees as punishment or something like that if I don't get
21
into
burpees for 21 points
it.
that I put up on you. But yeah, I'll be curious to see um what these 84 look like. The one I'm excited to see too is stage performance and how you pull that one off. Because there's a bunch of different ways that you could go about doing that. You can do it from the acting route. You can do it from like Cirque du Soleil or like
I'll probably spare
maybe
you guys from the singing.
maybe here's how you can knock out a bunch of different activities all in once. Maybe you can do some type of like Disney on Ice thing. So you can knock out the inline skating and you can knock out the stage performance.
Oh man, yeah, that would be something. I would deserve a few activities to be able to double dip if I end up with Disney on Ice.
um, just to kind of wrap up, just what are you looking to take away from this experience that you're going through right now with the 84 activities?
Yeah, this all kind of stemmed again from playing tennis that one time with some friends, and so one thing that I want to take away of is that there's a whole world out there with a lot of cool people with a lot of different passions, and it's just as something as simple as going out there and trying something new, maybe being a little uncomfortable, maybe being a little apprehensive about doing things, but kind of overcoming that. And so far, every activity that I've done and been a part of, and everyone that I've talked to, it's only made me more excited to do more activities. And I think to get the most out of your physical well-being is to kind of go out there and try new things. So I'm definitely hoping that I get a little bit out of my comfort zone and I end up finding some either new passions or talking with some cool people and just having a fun time while doing it.
Yeah, so my follow-up question to that is, has your outlook changed on what you wanted to get from this experience as opposed to when you started this?
Yeah, I think this has evolved, a little bit where, I do want to focus on, I have a blurb in each one of my posts, usually about like the coach.
Hmm.
So I think that's the best way to learn is when you get to talk to someone and kind of pick their brain about what their passion is. I think that's been super interesting so far, and it's been really great to be a part of. So definitely, I didn't expect being as, you know, um, almost just being able to pick their brains and learning all about what they love about the sport or activity that they do, having that kind of give me some excitement and some energy and some confidence in being able to do it. And so definitely talking with the coaches and learning about the background of the sport and activity well. That's one thing that, again, in my blurbs, I kind of write about how this originated, right? How
Hmm.
parkour originated. And it kind of blew my mind that it was from the French military when they said if we have urban warfare, we want to train our soldiers to be able to kind of maneuver through the city and jump over odd objects and to go on bars and to climb up walls.
Yeah.
So to know that's how a sport started, and it's kind of evolved into this really awesome community where there are a ton of people that do it globally, and there are gyms popping up that run parkour classes.
Yeah.
It's super cool to see the evolution, and it's really awesome just to kind of be a student of all that of that background and history.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where can people find you, and what can we look forward to seeing in the near future?
Yeah. So every Whoop activity at every Whoop activity on Instagram. I'm gonna be keeping everything updated. I'm gonna continue to learn and grow with this account. I love interacting with people, so give me a follow. And give me some ideas. Message me. Bounce some ideas off me. It's been super awesome, kind of being able to talk to people from all around the world to see kind of like what they think, and also photos RX. So photos period RXD. I'm trying my best hand at sports photography. So I got a lot of cool things planned there too. I'm probably going to integrate the two with some filmography and kind of introducing some more video
Mm.
content, which I'm really excited for. And then Silk City Fit, also Manchester, Connecticut. It's an awesome CrossFit affiliate. If you're ever in the area, please drop in. Please say hello. It's really such an amazing community that is put together there, and definitely a blessing to be a part of. So follow along with us as well at Silk City Fit on Instagram, every Whoop activity, and then photos period RX.
Cool. And finally, for you, what was it like to knock out another activity and to do some gaming? What did you learn from this experience, if anything?
No, it's this was a ton of fun. So I think staying calm, cool, and collected, but my heart rate was above what it typically would be if I were just sitting on the couch. So this was definitely something that kind of gets the blood flowing, and it's been an awesome experience. So I'm super excited to log it and check another one off the list.